longtime Peoria native and wonderful musician and singer-songwriter who passed away in 2007, advanced prostate cancer. I and some other people decided to try and have the commemoration, and we ended up being successful. We had a beautiful memorial built on the Peoria riverfront, and we have annual events there every year, and this will be our 5th year in a row here on October 25th, where people from around the country once again coming to the Peoria area to honor Dan. The Fogelberg Foundation does more than just that. Besides building that beautiful memorial, we maintain that, and we also entertain arts programs for children, and through our efforts we've been able to give back $25,000 to the Peoria community over the last 5 years. So we'd like to continue that. This year is going to be a little bit different. I have a restaurant up here in this neck of the woods, and I'm having a brunch for people that are coming in. Over the last couple of years I've been able to take some people to the water tower, and they just absolutely dearly love it. And the fact that this year will be end of October, I'm hoping the weather holds out. I know it's all predicated on what the weather's like. If it gets icy and cold and wet, it's not too good to get up there, and I get that. So hopefully the weather will hold out, and we can steer a couple of hundred people up to that water tower. That's our goal this particular weekend. In addition to that water tower, I'm hoping you can steer me in a direction and entertain the thought of putting an addition on the water tower. Part of the Fogelberg Foundation is to continue to create awareness for Dan Fogelberg and his musical legacy. And on my numerous trips up there, I see some wonderful bronze plaques with quotes from notable authorities and figures from the past. And I think an appropriate quote from Dan Fogelberg, his very great love of nature, I think could be a beautiful addition up there. It's something the Fogelberg Foundation would love to fund completely if you would entertain the opportunity of considering allowing us to do that. So when we built the memorial on the riverfront, we put 6 stones on the riverfront, and we put out the word to our fans, and there were over 14,000 people on one fan base and over 30,000 on another. We allowed them to suggest what would mean something to them that would be heartfelt and appropriate to stand the test of time. And so we entertained all these suggestions that came in from around the world. When we had our event here in Peoria, people attended from 39 states for our dedication ceremony. I would like to think if we were able to make this wonderful addition to the Heights, we could have another bit of a dedication and another event that would tie in the Heights. And I think it'd be a nice addition and something appropriate for one of Peoria's native sons. So that's what I would like you to consider, and hopefully you can steer me in the right direction of how we might be able to proceed with this and keep it in a positive mode. I thank you.
Thank you, Hugh. Any questions at all for Mr. Higgins?
When's the brunch?
Sunday the 26th. Sunday the 26th, we'll have a brunch at Hearth Restaurant from 10 to 3. And a portion of all those proceeds are going to go to the Fogelberg Foundation. I'm giving back from that day. So hopefully we'll see you there. And I'll see you, Sylvia, for lunch. Good to see you, Chief. And hopefully see more of you at lunch or dinner at Hearth in the Heights. And please let me know what I can do to help move this forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hugh.
All right. Thanks again. Moving now to trustee reports, and first will be the ambulance service with Trustee Fuller.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing to report this evening.
Right. Thank you. Move to Public Works with Trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. The only thing I have, we will be doing hydrant flushing starting October 20th, and the schedule will be on the website for when they'll flush hydrants in individual areas. That's it.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions at all for Trustee Harn?
When does that start again, the hydrant flushing?
October 20th.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again. We'll move to administration personnel with Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing.
Okay. Thank you. Move to economic development, village improvements with Trustee Carter.
Thank you. I have nothing tonight.
Right. Thank you very much. Move to the police department with Trustee Cumming.
Thanks, Mayor Allen. You know I won't let you down with an announcement. Our next neighborhood watch meeting will be Monday the 27th, right up here at Village Hall, 6:30 p.m. If you have any code enforcement or police issues in your neighborhood, please come up and share us with them, and we will look into those and get them rectified. Also, Chief, I don't know now that we're into October if you have heard anything, if there was going to be a trunk or treat program this year. I think last year the school, in conjunction with the department, did something down at the school, but,
Correct, usually have something every year, but I haven't heard any
Okay.
details yet, so.
well, we'll check on that and have an announcement for the next meeting, get that word out to the public.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any questions at all for trustee Cumming? All right, thanks again. We'll go to building maintenance with trustee Gett.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing to report at this time.
All right. Trustee Gett, how about the fire department? Nothing?
Same thing.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Before we go to comments from the audience side, when trustee Cumming was given the update for the meeting to come here, I was thinking that, we want to express our condolences to Roberta Knoll for the passing of her husband Frank, who both of them were often here for Board of Trustees meetings, but especially for the Neighborhood Watch. So Frank was one heck of a nice guy, and we're going to miss him terribly. So again, our condolences to Roberta and the family. We'll move now to comments from the audience. If anybody in the audience has a care, concern, question, please come up to the village lectern and give us your name and address. If it's negative, we need to know where we can find you at night. Okay, well, we thank everyone for attending. No old business tonight, so we need to move to new business, and first up will be Resolution 2014-06, and that will be presented by trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2014-06 repeals the current personnel resolution and adopts a new employee handbook which provides employees with general information about working conditions, benefits, and policies affecting their employment. The new handbook was developed by administrative staff with input and review provided by the village's risk management insurance provider and legal counsel. The handbook was also mailed to representatives from both collective bargaining units for their review. The handbook will apply to all village personnel. However, when an employee is represented by a union, their collective bargaining agreement will prevail in the event of a conflict with the employee handbook. And I think everybody received a copy of the new handbook. So I would like to make the motion that we approve Resolution 2014-06.
Have a motion from trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from trustee Gett. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of Resolution 2014-06, as outlined by trustee Reichert. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved Resolution 2014-06. Next order of new business tonight regards an equipment purchase for the street department, and that will be presented by trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I think I'll just read this. Kyle took a lot of time to prepare it, so it sums it up really nicely. The Public Works Department requests approval to purchase a 2014 Bobcat S550 skid steer loader. This unit will replace a 1992 Gale skid steer loader, which was purchased used in or around 1997. The Gale has several hundred hours on it and has reached the end of its useful life for our purposes, having become unreliable and unsafe for public works operators. The Bobcat machine has been specified for several reasons. These include price, local equipment maintenance, number of attachments available for sale or rent, and most importantly, size. The Bobcat machine is powerful enough to run high-flow hydraulic attachments, but small enough in size to fit down sidewalks along Glen for plowing snow between the school and the library. Thoughtful machine selection will allow the Public Works Department to have dual-purpose equipment with more uptime for many years to come. To reduce the purchase price by a total of $21,023, several pieces of obsolete equipment will be traded in. These include the 1992 Gale 5625 skid steer loader. We're going to get $8,000 out of that. The breaker attachment that goes with that, that's worth $2,000. The planer attachment worth another $2,000. They found an old Caterpillar 333 generator set engine and we've got $2,023 out of that, a 1980 Joy air compressor for $1,000, and a 2007 Kawasaki Mule all-terrain vehicle for $6,000. Per the quote included in the Board of Trustee packet, the total cost of the Bobcat S550 skid steer loader will be $68,023. This price includes the following. We will get a 2014 Bobcat S550 skid steer loader with high-flow hydraulics and pressurized cab, which means heat and air, I'm pretty sure, right? 68-inch angled broom attachment, HB 980 breaker attachment, a 42-inch pallet fork attachment, a 72-inch snow blade attachment, and a 62-inch bucket attachment. With approval, the equipment will be ordered immediately and delivered mid-November 2014. Final cost to the Village of Peoria Heights after all trade-in allowances are accounted for will equal $47,000. Anticipating the need for a new skid steer loader and under new management, the Public Works Department has kept more work in-house this year to free up funds already within the budget for this purchase. The proposal is to utilize $15,000 from streets and engineering, $17,000 from streets, curbs, and sidewalks, and $15,000 from water engineering. No new funds are required for this purchase. Given the belt tightening happening throughout the Village of Peoria Heights, an unfunded purchase request is simply irresponsible at this time. Thank you, Kyle. So anyway, I make a motion that we approve the amount for $47,000, which is really good after all of our little trade-ins.
Okay, have a motion from trustee Harn,
Second.
second from trustee Cumming. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? I do want to say that I will miss that 1980 Joy air compressor terribly, so,
It's a classic.
That was a good year, Mayor.
yes, it was, particularly for the Joy air compressor. It'd be a sad day.
It's still, huh?
Yes?
But thank you for gathering all this stuff to trade in as well, so, because every dollar saved is a dollar saved. So,
I would
thank you,
like to
sir.
thank Public Works Director Smith also for finding the money within his budget and staying within his budget to make this large capital purchase. So very savvy use of your funds to get new equipment.
Very good. Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the equipment purchase for the S550 Bobcat skid steer loader as outlined by trustee Harn in the amount of $47,000. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the purchase of the skid steer loader as outlined by trustee Harn. Next order of new business tonight is ordinance 2014-1417. That will be presented by trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance is authorizing the non-exclusive lease of the first floor of the Centennial Building owned by the Village of Peoria Heights. And the lease will be to the Peoria Heights Historical Society, which I see Robbie Matheson is here. Would you like to come up and say a few words about what you guys are doing?
Hey, guys.
Thanks for dressing up tonight, Rob.
Yeah, sorry, I brought my son too, Cooper. We just got home with football, so dressed my best here. Anyways, thanks for considering this. I came to Administrator Matt Fick a week or two ago and asked him if it was a possibility, and he got on the ball and really made things happen. Our group is a small group at this point, but we truly care about Peoria Heights history. And in the near future, we plan on presenting some ideas to the village, along with opening our group up for membership. And we have some ideas such as a Peoria Heights historical walking tour that might really benefit the downtown area, along with outlying areas of Peoria Heights, including the trail. People can maybe get a bite to eat and learn a little bit about the history of our village. As you guys most likely know, our history is immense here, and our group is put together to kind of expose that and, teach people what we have, and so that's what our plan is. And we really don't have a building at this point because financially, we're not stable. You know, we need to go start somewhere. So, you know, we've been meeting at the grade school on a monthly basis. We meet every third Wednesday. And, you know, from there, now we're going to start hopefully meeting at the Centennial Building. And as we grow our membership and we grow a website and we get our advertising out and raise funds, then we can get some things done. So that's what we're going to do. Anybody else have any questions?
I do have a question, Robbie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Every third Wednesday, is that open up to the public? Are you still gathering information?
Yeah, now that we have the building, we can actually hold public meetings.
Okay.
The school was kind of, I don't want to say hidden, but nobody really knew. So now that we have the building, we're going to put people to work on a website. We're going to put that information out. We're going to post it here at the Village Hall, along with on the school's website, maybe the village website, the Chamber of Commerce website. So yes, that will be open to the entire, whoever wants to attend.
Okay.
Yeah. The membership will have an annual vote. You know, they can cast vote and they can, but just the open meetings are more or less brainstorming ideas. There's not a lot of voting that will take place at the open meetings.
Right.
You know, so.
Okay.
Any other questions? We will honor the building, treat it like our own, and we will work with any other groups that are involved in the building. I know the Public Works office is there. We won't go up in your area, I can assure you of that. And if you guys ever need anything, we'll work with you very easily, so.
I'll be more than happy to show you where the vacuum is.
Okay. We can probably do that every once in a while.
The times that you have for your every third Wednesday, what are the times? Are you planning?
6:30 PM.
Okay,
Yeah, every third Wednesday, 6:30 PM.
so whenever, right?
Yeah, they usually last about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Usually 8 PM.
Okay.
So, thank you guys very much for the consideration.
Thank you, Robbie.
You're welcome.
So this lease will be for a term of 5 years at an annual rate of $1 per year. The term is from October 7th, 2014 through October 7th, 2019. The lease term shall terminate on October 8th, 2019. So I would make a motion that we approve ordinance 2014-1417 to rent the Centennial Building to the Peoria Heights Historical Society.
We have a motion from trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from trustee Fuller. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of ordinance number 2014-1417 as outlined by trustee Reichert. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Okay, thank you by a vote of 6-0. The board has approved ordinance 2014-1417 regarding the lease with Peoria Heights Historical Society at the Centennial Building. Next order of new business tonight has to do with the potential enterprise zone presented by trustee Carter.
Thank you. I understand that we have a visitor here from that. Is Mark, is it Rother?
Yes.
Come up to the stand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm here to talk about enterprise zones and what they are and the opportunity for Peoria Heights to be engaged with this economic development tool that's offered by the state of Illinois. I did hand out a piece of information to you. What I will probably be doing is going through that to just kind of explain. Some of you probably do know what enterprise zones are and some of you may not, but a lot of this information in this document go into the particulars of what they are and the incentives that are offered, and I'm happy to answer any questions after that. So basically, enterprise zones are geographically based designations provided by the state and local governments to stimulate economic growth and development in economically depressed areas. Whether you have a building like the Cohen building that is vacant currently, that would be a good property to put in an enterprise zone to incentivize a developer to come in and redevelop that property. There are certain benefits to being in an enterprise zone from a state level and a local level. From the state level, there are incentives that deal with your income taxes, and I've listed them there on the second page. At the local level, there's also different incentives that can be applied as far as tax abatements from the various jurisdictions that overlap, such as the school district, the park district, the township, and of course the village and the county as well too. You can also waive building fees and also just make it easier for developers to come to your community. Enterprise zones have been in existence since 1982. They were originally put in place for 30 years, and recently the state has passed some laws over the past 2 or 3 years to, I guess, re-energize the whole enterprise zone program. They took a keen eye and reviewed the whole program and made some changes to it. The program, there are 96 enterprise zones in the state of Illinois, 16 of which are located in Cook County. The city of Chicago itself, which is in Cook County, has 6 all by itself, 4 in the collar counties, and 76 that are in downstate. So currently in Peoria County, we have 2 enterprise zones. One is what I would call an urban enterprise zone, and then one that is a rural enterprise zone. The urban one largely is in the city of Peoria, and the rural one stretches from Elmwood down to unincorporated Peoria County near Mapleton, and then up to the airport area. So what we're trying to do is, again, the state has said through this new legislation that all enterprise zones will end in 2016. All the existing ones will end. So everyone in the state, in every metro area and rural county, have to reapply for a new enterprise zone if they want one. The state has incentivized collaboration between different governments. So if 4 or more units of local government, such as a county or a city or a village, partner together, they can have up to 15 square miles in an enterprise zone. Whereas if, for example, if Peoria County just applied by ourselves, we would only get 12 square miles. And obviously this is a competition, so not everyone that applies is going to get an enterprise zone, so we have to make our application competitive. We feel that being competitive entails partnering with different local governments, such as yourself, and having the best application, obviously, that highlights what our distressed areas are, what our unemployment rates are, our poverty rates, and things like that. So if you want, on the second page, it starts with what the incentives are. I don't know if that is of interest to you, but there's an investment tax credit that goes against certain purchases, or for the purchases you make, you get an investment tax credit against your state income tax. There's also what is also an important one, a building materials sales tax deduction. That's one of the larger ones associated with the enterprise zone. Basically, you don't have to pay sales tax on your building materials if you make a purchase as a developer in the enterprise zone for a property. There's also manufacturing, machinery and equipment exemption on sales tax. There's a utility tax exemption, which is also large, but that has some job creation equivalent or requirements to it, like you have to create 200 full-time jobs or retain 1,000 full-time jobs. So that is pretty specific to certain industries. And then the big one is the property tax incentive, where you as a village get to decide, hey, we want to offer a 5-year tax abatement on our property taxes and to incentivize growth and development. You can then also encourage your other local jurisdictions that overlap you, like the school district, for example, to also be a partner in economic development. And I think that's one of the more exciting things about this whole program. It's not so much like a TIF where you say, we're going to do this, and the other taxing districts don't have a say in it. This is an opportunity for them to be a partner, to be contributing to economic development actively, and providing their own tax abatement through this program. If you think about it, I ran the numbers. The village and the county and a school district make up nearly 70 to 80% of your tax bill. So right there, you're hitting a lot of, you're getting a good incentive as a developer if you're coming into this community, if you can get the school district convinced to participate in this type of program. Again, the other incentives also include a waiving of building fees, an expedited plan review, or special considerations for financing programs that you might have. At the county level, we've had some policy discussions on what we want to see at the county level as far as what our local incentives are. They can be different for different jurisdictions. So you could have a different property tax abatement incentive than the county does. But for logistics reasons and administratively, it's easier if we're all in sync. But at the county level, we've talked about doing a 5-year tax abatement for at varying levels. So years 1 through 3, we're at 100% tax abatement, and then years 4 through 5, we're at a 50% tax abatement. And that would only apply to industrial and commercial development, no residential. There's also, like I said, the sales tax exemption, which is also a local benefit. So that's already automatic. So the state sales tax is exempted, and any local sales tax that you have is also exempted automatically. However, you can put conditions on that local sales tax exemption. So in order for you to be eligible for that sales tax exemption, you could put certain conditions on that to be eligible. So one of the things we had talked about at the county was for any project over, say, $250,000, you would have to use prevailing wage to complete that project. That was the trigger for you to be eligible for that sales tax exemption. Anything under $250,000 would still apply, would still be eligible, and you do not have to use prevailing wage. Now, that is still under discussion, but that is something that was brought up at our policy meeting that we had at the county level. And we also allowed for that sales tax exemption to apply to residential, to encourage any residential growth that might happen in your enterprise zone, and not have the prevailing wage issue attached to that as well. So those are some of the local incentives that we had talked about. One of the, I guess, the questions before you as a body is, do you want to be a partner with the county and the city of Peoria in our urban, what we're calling our urban application that is due at the end of this year on December 31st. Again, we have to get 4 or more units of government to participate to get that 15 square miles. And so we are looking at what are the jurisdictions that are adjacent to Peoria. It makes sense that Peoria Heights is one of them. West Peoria, Bartonville are also in consideration as well too. So we're looking at that as the urban application. We're also working on another application, which we call the rural application, which is going to be likely to be Chillicothe, Princeville, Elmwood, and Hannah City. So again, we're going on 2 different tracks here. And I've kind of outlined on that last page and that last question, how do you get your community involved in this process and to be a co-applicant, so to speak. And one is, I'll need certain information from you, such as a map of the properties that you want to see in an enterprise zone. There's going to be a cost associated with this. We have to get a surveyor to do a meets and bounds survey of all the property that's going to be in our initial map. So there's a cost to hire him and obviously do that work. There also has to be a public hearing that has to have a transcriptionist transcribe it word for word. So we're all going to cost share that as well. I'll also need just basic information about what your community's 3-year goals are as far as development. And then ultimately, you'll have to pass an ordinance here designating